I still remember the exact second my life flipped upside down. My bedroom door flew open, and my mom was standing there. And I was frozen in the mirror, wearing her dress, her heels, and half-finished lipstick. For 5 years I had hidden my cross-dressing secret perfectly. 5 years of late nights, locked doors, and carefully putting everything back exactly where it belonged. But in that moment, there was no hiding. She looked at me. I looked at her. And instead of screaming, or getting angry, she quietly said something that shocked me to my core. "Tomorrow," she said, "we're going to fix this." I had no idea what she meant. But the next day, my life would change in a way I never expected. I'm Daniel. I'm 23 years old. And for most of my life, I lived with a secret that I was absolutely terrified anyone would discover. My cross-dressing journey started when I was around 12. It wasn't some big dramatic moment. Honestly, it was curiosity. One afternoon my parents were out shopping, and I wandered into my mom's room looking for a phone charger. Her closet door was open. Inside were dresses, skirts, shoes, things that looked completely different from the plain jeans and hoodies I wore every day. I remember touching the fabric of one dress. It was soft, lighter than anything I owned. Something about it made my heart start racing. Have you ever had one of those moments where your brain is saying, "Don't do it," but another part of you is whispering, "Just try it once"? Yeah, that was me. So I closed the door, locked it, and I slipped the dress over my head. When I looked in the mirror, I didn't laugh like I thought I would. I just stood there staring. Because for the first time, something about my reflection felt strangely right. Not perfect. Not fully understood. But right. From that day on, whenever I had the house to myself, I'd sneak into that closet. A skirt here. Pair of heels there. Practicing walking. Practicing moving. It became this quiet little world where I could explore my identity without anyone judging me. But here's the thing about secrets. They never stay hidden forever. And the night my mom walked in on me, the entire world I had carefully built in silence suddenly exploded. And trust me, what happened next was something I never could have predicted. But before I tell you that part, drop a comment if you've ever had a secret you were terrified someone would discover. Because the decision I made the next night was the moment everything started to change. After my mom walked in and saw me standing there, dressed in her clothes, she didn't yell. She didn't cry. She just looked at me for a long moment like she was trying to understand something. Then she quietly closed the door and said, "We'll talk tomorrow." That was it. And honestly, that silence was worse than any yelling could have been. I didn't sleep that night. My brain kept racing. What if she tells my dad? What if she thinks something is wrong with me? What if my whole family finds out? Every horrible possibility kept running through my head. You know when you replay the same moment over and over again in your mind? Every little detail? Yeah, that was me until sunrise. The next morning I avoided the kitchen for as long as I could. But eventually I had to face her. When I finally walked in, she was sitting at the table with coffee. She looked up and said calmly, "Sit down, Daniel." My heart felt like it was about to jump out of my chest. Then she asked a question I wasn't expecting. "How long?" That was it. No anger. Just curiosity. I stared at the table and whispered, "Since I was 12. She nodded slowly. Then she asked, "And how does it make you feel?" That question caught me off guard. Nobody had ever asked me that before. I struggled to explain it. "Feels freeing," I said. "Like I can finally be honest with myself." For a moment she didn't say anything. Then she sighed and said something that made my stomach twist. "If this is really part of who you are, then hiding isn't going to help you." I looked up confused. She continued, "Tonight we're going to talk about this properly." And the way she said it made me realize something. This wasn't just a small conversation anymore. Something big was coming. And honestly, I had no idea what I was getting myself into. But the next part of the story, that's when things started getting really unexpected. Because that evening, my mom did something I never thought she would ever do. And it completely changed the direction of my self-discovery journey. Before I continue, let me ask you something. What would you do if someone discovered your biggest secret? Seriously, think about it. Because what happened next was the beginning of a transformation I never saw coming. That evening I got home from work and my stomach was in knots. You know that feeling when you know a serious conversation is waiting for you at home? Yeah, every step up the driveway felt heavier than the last. When I walked into the house, my mom was sitting in the living room. But she wasn't alone. Next to her on the couch were 3 large shopping bags. My heart instantly started racing again. She looked up and said, "Good, you're home. Come sit." I slowly sat down, staring at the bags. Then she pushed them toward me. "Open them." I hesitated. My mind was spinning. What is this? Why did she buy things? But I reached into the first bag. Inside was a dress. Not one of hers. A brand new one. I looked up at her in shock. She shrugged and said, "If you're going to explore this part of your identity, you shouldn't have to sneak around in my closet." I didn't even know how to respond. Inside the other bags were more things. Makeup. A wig. Accessories. It was like she had gone on a full shopping trip. Part of me felt embarrassed. Part of me felt exposed. And another part, strangely relieved. Have you ever had someone acknowledge something about you that you've been hiding for years? It's terrifying, but also freeing. Then she said something that made my heart skip. "Go try them on." I froze. "You want me to?" She nodded. "Yes." I grabbed the bags and walked to my room with shaky hands. Closing the door felt surreal. For years I had only dressed in secret. Now my mom knew. And she had literally bought the clothes. I laid everything out on my bed. The dress was soft, a deep burgundy color. The heels were simple but elegant. And the makeup, well, that was a whole new challenge. Let me tell you, the first time you try putting on eyeliner with shaking hands, it is not easy. I poked myself in the eye twice. I wiped off lipstick 3 different times. At one point I looked in the mirror and just started laughing. Thought, wow, I look like a disaster. But slowly, piece by piece, things started coming together. The dress zipped up. The wig settled into place. The makeup, not perfect but decent. And as I stood there looking at my reflection, something incredible happened. For the first time, I didn't feel like I was hiding. I felt like I was stepping into something honest. But then, there was a knock on my door. My mom's voice came through. "Daniel, are you ready?" And in that moment, my confidence disappeared again. Because she was about to see the full transformation. And trust me, that moment changed everything. But what happened when I opened that door? I'll tell you in a second. First though, have you ever tried something completely outside your comfort zone and thought, what am I doing right now? Me know. Because when I finally opened that door, I thought I was ready. But I wasn't.